football fans, we are coming to you live from the Eagles' Nest of Big Walnut High School for the first time this season. Perfect weather, a perfect location, and Friday night lights are on our agenda tonight as the OH Report is bringing you this matchup between Dayton, Dunbar, and the Big Walnut Golden Eagles. I'm Bryce Coder, back for round two, and this time I've got Ohio D3 football state champion Josh Anderson in the booth with me this year as the OH Report brings you every game for the rest of the season. Stay tuned for the Complete Air Systems pregame show coming up next.
Looking for the best high school sports coverage in Ohio? You found it right here on the OH Report. From the field to the court, we've got it all. OH Report brings you local coverage like nobody else in the area, live and free. Follow OH Report now and never miss a moment of the action. Don't just watch, be a part of the game with OH Report, the future of local sports.
This place means everything to us. This is where we come together. We do all of our birthdays out here. We grill hamburgers and hot dogs. We fish. I was about to give up. I was about to think that the property wasn't going to become mine. Rural First specializes in solving the problems. I made the call, and the rest is history. It was done. It made everything easy. Questions answered, walked me through the process. It was done. When I'm here, just feel peace. That's all it means to me. Peace.
Live and free coverage of Big Walnut Athletics, proudly presented by the Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles, serving the community since 1898.
You're strong, you're valued, you're loved, and we're just so happy to have you here.
This event is one of the greatest things ever, to see community come together and see people pay tribute to those that they love and those that they've lost.
Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you've been through, you don't have to go through it alone.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Bryce Carter with the OH Report, and we are coming to you live for the Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC pregame show. And I've got in the booth Ohio D3 football state champion Josh Anderson. Josh, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Friday Night Lights, and I'm real excited for the matchup we got tonight.
And Friday Night Lights, something that you're certainly acquainted with throughout your time in high school and also college as well, a little bit of college playing experience.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing better than smelling the nice popcorn and the hot dogs in the air on Friday Night Lights, so it's good to be back.
Doesn't get better than this as we are in the Eagles' nest for week number 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at our team spotlight for the Dunbar Wolverines. In this season or last game, a strong defensive effort. They went down 20-0 in week 1 to Hughes, but were able to force a fumble, also an INT, and held Hughes to 20 points. And you said that intensity is really going to keep them alive in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's going to keep them alive in this game is just kind of playing every down like it's their last down, and to try to make big plays on little mistakes for Big Walnut.
And taking a look at our player spotlight for Dunbar. And a few guys we could have chosen here, but we are taking a look at Derek Hardy. He's a 3-letter athlete, basketball, baseball, and football. Last game he had an INT, a fumble recovery, and 3 batted passes. And he plays cornerback and also wide receiver, also defensive back. When you play both sides of the ball, how do you think that informs your game playing and your decision making?
I think it just makes you maybe take some plays off, or maybe even turn up the heat on some plays. You know, playing on both sides of the ball, you have to kind of be in tune to the whole game, getting the sense of it. You know, if you're playing on offense and defense, you know, sometimes it could be a really big boost because you kind of take that frustration out when things are stalling out, maybe on defense or offense, and bring it to the other side of the ball. So I think it could be a really good game changer sometimes.
Taking a look at the keys to victory for the Dunbar Wolverines, and you had a couple of them for us tonight. First and foremost, capitalizing on the defensive success from last game and finding that offensive rhythm. What do you think is so important about that offensive rhythm, and what do you think they're looking for in this game?
I definitely think just capitalizing on those defensive turnovers. You know, those are extra possessions. You cannot really sleep on those, especially when you play some good competition. So capitalize on those mistakes and, turn those mistakes into points, you know.
So getting ready for the Big Walnut Golden Eagles to take the home field for the first time in this season. A look here at our Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC pregame show. After they take the field, we will bring you the team spotlight for Big Walnut. So much excitement in the air for them. Last week didn't go their way. Last year they lost and were shut out, but this past week they were able to pick up 2 touchdowns. So able to get something, but again, Watterson just kind of a mammoth.
Yeah, I'm just watching the game last week. You know, they had some really good plays. Kind of seemed like lost a little steam in the second half. Hopefully they're able to keep up that momentum for the whole game.
So winding things up with the youth program. And there you have it. Your Big Walnut Golden Eagles have taken the field. A 13-2 season last year took it all the way to the Elite Eight. So jumping back into our Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC pregame show, let's go ahead and take a look at our team spotlight for Big Walnut. And taking a look at some of the players last year that are returning, they had 3 guys on the All-Ohio First Team squad. Nolan Burley at running back, Eli Helton at the inside linebacker position, and then Brody Hatfield at the cornerback position. All of those guys returning.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at last game, I'm expecting a probably pretty big bounce back game from Burley, and I feel like this is going to be kind of a real big get-right game for the Big Walnut. Nothing like playing in front of your home fans, nothing like being in front of the crowd. So do some good things, hopefully.
Taking a look at our player spotlight and our first one of the year as we bring you the rest of the season. We're taking a look at Nolan Burley, his 2024 stats, 2,150 rushing yards. We'll take a quick break as we pause for the national anthem. National anthem taken care of by the Big Walnut Marching Band, and taking a look at, again, at our player spotlight, that being Nolan Burley. And 2,150 on the rushing yards, but 29 rushing touchdowns and only 2 fumbles all season long. I mean, just a phenomenal performance, and to say all that, he was a sophomore.
Yeah, those are definitely NCAA type of stats right there. I came through those on my road to glory. So that's a pretty good stat line for last season. I'm interested to see how he's going to look in this upcoming one.
Taking a look at our keys to victory. And disciplined, tight defensive shifts. We saw some of it last game where they were able to force a couple of 3-and-outs, but ultimately they were overwhelmed by the strength of the Watterson offense and capitalizing on the turnovers created, and they were able to create some turnovers.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing is being disciplined. I think as the game went on, they kind of just got took their foot off the gas a little bit, and I think it kind of showed, especially on those read options last game. So hopefully they learned their lesson this week coming up and be able to capitalize on those mistakes.
So fans with an explanation for last week. So we showed up to the site and there was a power outage. We got all set up as we would, just waiting for the power. Fortunately, when the power came back on, it surged and fried the motherboard on my laptop. So I felt horrible that we weren't able to bring you that game. We did everything we possibly could to be able to bring you that game. But a little bit of Murphy's Law where everything that could go wrong went wrong that night, and I sincerely apologize. So lining up for the kickoff, and it looks like it'll be Big Walnut kicking away things first. Making the long trek from Dayton. They were held up for about 15 or so minutes, and that was the delay that we had. We are all set and ready to go here in the Eagles' nest. To kick it will be senior Jake Neff. Neff, the kicker last year, had a couple of near 50-yarders, can certainly get a hold of it. This one is right down the middle and will bounce in the end zone for a touchback, and that's where we'll start things.
It's really good for a Big Walnut. I know last game they definitely kind of maybe struggle a little bit on their special teams. It's the third of the game, so to see how they kind of came out seems different. Seems like they're a little tightened up. And good tally. Good tally.
So kicking things off on the 20-yard line. Some discussion had in there at the huddle. Trayvon Carr at the quarterback position.
Seemed to come out in a pistol set.
Couple of substitutions there. Believe maybe something having to do with the uniform. But we're set again. Play clock has not started as it begins now. A man in motion. The snap, a pitch to the outside. Read well and blown up at the line of scrimmage for maybe a loss of half a yard. Just nowhere to go. Thought about going outside, saw 2 red jerseys, went inside and 2 more red jerseys.
That's textbook read right there from the linebackers. Look at how they fill those gaps.
So they'll spot him down just short of 20-yard line, about an inch or so. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Dunbar's in a shotgun look. Looked like a false start.
Yeah, that one looks like number 2, Isaiah Jolly. Got off the line just a little bit too quickly.
Eager to get to the madness, I see.
Yeah.
Love to see that. Sometimes there's the thing of being a little too early to the party sometimes.
So that sets him back. Now 2nd and 15. The snap, looking in the backfield, now throwing towards the sideline, reading it well and getting a hand on it is Cole Heisel.
Yeah, look, Cole Heisel just read that like a book on the outside. A good play for the Big Walnut defense right there.
Able to get a hand in, closing out so quickly, and it leads to a 3rd and 15 scenario.
If you're a DB coach, you love when your DB is going to hand the cookie jar right there.
So need to get it to the 30 to convert the first down.
It's pretty tough in your playbook. There's not a lot of 3rd and 15 plays, so I'm interested to see what Dunbar is going to bring out the hat tricks.
I think an official timeout called. Not quite sure what they're discussing. But the Zebras disperse, and it looks like we're getting ready to play football once again.
I was about to actually call them Zebras, so great minds think alike.
So it looks like just a change in the play, or the game clock, changing it to 10:40, taking 7 seconds or so off. So 3rd and 15 on their own 15, rolling out to his right, looking for a receiver, finds one in the way of Derek Hardy, our player spotlight, but it's not going to be enough as it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, it looked like when he threw the ball, it kind of hit the carpet before it got to him, and that's going to be an incomplete pass right there. Hate to see it for your first drive, but hey, if they can put this away, get some good field position, not all hope is lost.
Forcing a 3-and-out situation. Big Walnut will be back to receive. Brody Hatfield will be the one to receive it.
He had a couple good plays last week. I'm interested to see how sticky he can get on the field this week.
And another stoppage in play as they back up.
Yeah, it just seemed like a miscommunication at the line. It seemed like the long snapper and the punter couldn't get on the same page. Maybe a little bit of that stadium pause play a little factor right there here at the Eagles nest.
So unless they're really able to get a hold of this one, Big Walnut's going to take over in Wolverine territory.
Yeah, not doing their defense any favors, so hopefully their punter, ate their weeds today and able to punt this bad boy on the other side of the field. But if not, it's not going to – it's going to be kind of not really, once again, doing your defense any favors right there.
Looking for the protection, the snap. It's a high punt, end over end, not very far. It's fielded right around the 28 or so. And that's where Big Walnut will start things off. Excellent field position.
Definitely got a lot of the air. Just need a little more power to do some flip the field a little bit.
It's like you got a little bit of shin on that one, not so much of the foot, yeah. So taking over for the first time tonight, Eli Stumpf under center, Nolan Burley in the backfield. The snap, hands it off to Burley, who bounces out wide, has room, gets the first down and more, and he's going to walk into the end zone untouched. It only took one play, and we have an Eagle touchdown.
Wow, that's special right there. If you look on the left side, look at that H-back, get that block, kick out block. Sealed him on the side right there. Untouched.
Just a heat-seeking missile on that block.
But back in the day when I used to play, when the running back used to go untouched, he's going to buy McDonald's for the big guys up front.
And it looks like they will. They're moving back, some sort of flag maybe. So a holding call against Big Walnut will take away the touchdown.
That makes a lot of sense sometimes why people are untouched right there. So definitely need to cut those kind of self-injuries if you're Big Walnut.
Yeah. So despite the holding, still got to feel good in the situation, you would think. I mean, went untouched on the last play. You think they're going for it again with the run?
I think so. If I was them, I would just say, hey, let's read your second verse, same as the first.
All right, so it brings up 1st and 20, looking to pass. Stumpf rolls out, finds a receiver. It's Nolan Burley. Nolan Burley fighting and brought down around the original line of scrimmage, a pickup of about 10.
Great read by Nolan right there. Hitting the underneath route. Got back to around a regular first down, so hopefully their offense can start cooking and get back on track.
So it brings up 2nd and about 10. They're on the Wolverine 30, a little bit of work to do. Into the I formation, wide receiver on either side, hands it off to Burley, taking it up the gut, hits the gap hard, and falls forward for an extra few yards, but not before a first down.
Once again, look at that great block by 87.
So bringing up a first down situation for him.
Grant Grayson with that for that fullback block last play really just stepped in.
1st and 10 on the Wolverine 19. A man in motion on the other side of the line of scrimmage, but a flag is going to be thrown. I believe this one a false start.
Yeah, it looked like when the H-back shit, he wasn't set before he hiked the ball.
So a 5-yard penalty will back him up. Now on the 24-yard line, 1st and 15. Hands it off to Burley on either side of him, able to shake free. Maybe gets a yard, but I think he just fights back to the original line of scrimmage after 5. So So able to move the ball forward, and that's something we were talking about last game, was how impressive it is that Nolan Burley lives life 6 yards at a time.
Definitely. And looking at how the game plan looks like so far, it's give him the ball, feed him, and he'll give you some lunch for meaning touchdown. So he's looking like he's pretty hungry today, so I can see them feeding the rock a lot.
The fake handoff, Stumpf rolling out to his left, finding a receiver. It's Brody Hatfield, spun around and brought down for a pickup of about 4 yards.
Yeah, great play call right there. The run's been successful so far in the game, so kind of, as you can see, the front seven kind of slowed down the run, and they're able to get a nice little pickup on the boot.
Situation where the run game opens up the pass game a little bit.
A little complimentary football right there. That's definitely on offense.
So 10 on the play clock as they're at the line of scrimmage and counting. Out of the pistol, high snap, but able to corral it. Burley brought down in the backfield around the 16-yard line. We'll see what they decide to do here on 4th down.
Yeah, look at that flow for Dunbar right there. That's definitely textbook reading the run.
It's Paul Black coming up with the tackle, the defensive back, now lining up for the 3-point field goal. 34-yarder. It's up and it's through. So we have a leader here in the first quarter. It's Big Walnut. A field goal is what they were able to get after a first play touchdown from Nolan Burley that was called back on a holding. We've got more live and free football action coming your way next.
Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home with the Champion Companies. Be part of a community where our team goes above and beyond because we want you to love where you live. Visit livewithchampion.com now and see how you can make the district at Berkshire your new home.
Back here in the first quarter, 6:53 remaining, and Big Walnut is on the board and leading the way 3-0 over the Dunbar Wolverines. Kick is up, takes a little bit of a backspin, but does hit the end zone line just by about an inch or so, and that leads to the touchback.
Oh boy, that was pretty close right there.
I don't think he could have done that again if he tried.
Yeah. I could definitely tell that return might get an earful jogging back to the sideline right there.
So after the touchback, Dunbar will start things off on the 20-yard line. A 3-and-out. Last time suffered a couple of false start penalties.
Definitely looking to not shoot themselves in the foot this drive. Hopefully they can get some momentum and move the chains a little bit.
And looks like an official timeout once again. Couple of substitutions. On the left side of the line of scrimmage is where the substitutions happens, but ready to play football once again. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
Once again, that pistol look for Dunbar.
Carr pitches it out. Dalton brought down in the backfield for a loss of about 6 yards.
Wow. As you can see, as they pitch it out to the right side over there, you see a mass of red jerseys engulfing the Dunbar running back.
So now back at the line of scrimmage, officially ruled 2nd and 15 after a loss of 5. Dalton was the ball carrier last time. The man in motion, it's Jolly having trouble with the snap though, just having to fall on top of it as it leads to 3rd down and long.
Jeez Louise, you hate to see that on 2nd and 15, Bryce.
Right into the man in motion even. Take another look at that one, but it was right into the side of Jolly as he was cutting across.
Yeah, it definitely just seems like a miscommunication between quarterback and center. And you hate to have that, especially this close in your own backyard.
It's one of those timing things, right? When it's perfect, but when it's not, it can be bad.
Very, very bad. And right now, I think things are pretty, very bad if you're Dunbar in this situation. Backed up in your own backyard. You can feel the shade of your field goal post on your jersey. It's never a good sign, good feeling.
So a timeout called. It'll be Dunbar that calls it.
Yeah, Coach definitely wants to talk about this a little more. Maybe go a couple pages into the playbook. Once again, there's not a lot of plays you want to call for 3rd or 15, especially so backed up in your end zone. But hopefully he can get something in his hat tricks and move forward.
Well, I mean, this is a big play, right? You've gotten shaken up a little bit. It's 3rd and 18. You really don't want to go 3 and out again after, you struggled to get yardage last time. They really want to make sure they get this right.
Definitely, and kind of if the punter does anything in his last iteration, field position is big. I feel like they got a little bailed out last series, but who knows? They might if they had that same success if they don't convert here.
Absolutely, and now on their own 12-yard line.
Once again, that shotgun look. Trips close.
Spreading the defensive line. The snap looking to the left. A throw is just out of the reach of wide receiver Paul Black. So that'll lead to 4th down as they bring on the punting unit. Brody Hatfield will be back to receive it once more.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You just can't connect if you're Dunbar. It'll take a pretty big ass from your quarterback and receiver to get something 3rd and 15 in this position. So, looking at everything, that was probably the best pass in that situation. Everything seemed pretty covered, but hey, maybe they can flip the field on this one.
Almost able to get a hand on it, but the punter does get it away. This one a little bit better. It will peter out right around the 37-yard line. That's where Big Walnut will start.
Let's see if they can capitalize on this good field position.
It's definitely a better punt that time. Got a little bit more distance and, definitely had the height too.
Definitely. It seemed like his legs a little more loose than the first one. Maybe it's that first punt jitters.
So a district at Berkshire 1st down for Big Walnut. They will begin in Wolverine territory. Another scenario with great field position.
Coming on the pistol, too. We should see what they're going to do.
Sending the running back away. They look for him in the backfield. Completes the pass. Picks up about 5 before he's rung up and pushed out of bounds.
They ran this a lot last week, and I think this could be their bread and butter this season. Getting your playmakers in space is never a bad thing, Bryce.
A great look there on our Reichert Express instant replay. So 2nd and 6 situation. They'll need to make it to the 27.
So far, they're ahead of schedule, so hopefully they can capitalize. Another motion.
Handing it off, Burley shakes a tackle,
wow.
shakes 2 tackles,
No
stays
way,
on his
Jose.
feet, breaks loose, and he is all the way into the end zone. Nolan Burley doing Nolan Burley things.
Mama, there goes that man.
No sign of a flag anywhere, so I think we can officially confirm it.
Look at that. I love this move right there. Whoop! There he goes. As he goes in, no, don't touch me there. And just trot into the end zone. Doesn't get better than that, Bryce.
Easy for Nolan Burley on his second rushing touchdown of the season. So lining up for the point after. Jake Neff will look to go 2 for 2 on the season on extra points.
Well, your Big Walnut right there. That is exactly what you needed right there. Like we said, capitalizing on that field position.
Defensive lineman jumping off sides will bring up a 1 yard gain for Big Walnut. We do see situations we have in the past where Big Walnut will take advantage of the extra 1 yard. Most notably that I can think of was against Westerville North, where in overtime they're lining up for the PAT to tie the game. A man jumps offside on defense. They go for 2 and win the game in overtime.
And that's just the name of the game, just capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes right there. And as so far in this game, that's what Big Walnut's been doing.
Now flag called again. This one another offsides going against Dunbar.
If you're Big Walnut right now, do you go for a fake and maybe test out the playbook?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, situations like this, you feel like you have the upper hand, and they are bringing on the 2-point squad, it looks like. Jake Neff subbing off, Eli Stump subbing on.
All right, Big Walnut's getting a little aggressive. We love to see it here. This, especially early on in the season, it's nice to see what your guys are made of, and maybe this might not be a game decision right here, but maybe it gives you some information later down the season, what your guys can do.
So sending Stumpf into the huddle with the play. 20 on the play clock, have some time to work with.
Uh-oh.
And another stoppage in play, this time, I believe, from the official. Officials back in position, and we're back to the line of scrimmage. Stumpf under center. Man in motion, it's Burley. The snap, hands it off to Burley.
Ooh,
Burley pounds it in for 2.
Burley's showing why he's Burley. Look at that, man. Definitely tell he's been in the weight room this offseason, Bryce.
So Big Walnut leading the way in this one, 11-0 over the Dunbar Wolverines. Stay with us.
Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home with the Champion Companies. Be part of a community where our team goes above and beyond because we want you to love where you live. Visit livewithchampion.com now and see how you can make the district at Berkshire your new home.
So Big Walnut takes an 11-0 lead here in the first quarter over Dayton Dunbar. A field goal put them up by 3 in their first possession, then their second time with the ball, a touchdown from Nolan Burley, and then they let him finish the business on the 2-point conversion. This one playable from around the end zone line and around the 18-yard line, so it ends up paying off for Big Walnut to keep it in.
Yeah, wasn't able to get back to the 20, but good effort for the Dunbar returner. Number 2, Isaiah Jolly.
And really a pivotal possession, I think, for them if they want to stay in this one. Big Walnut's offense is starting to fire on all cylinders. You feel like this one, if they could get a score, then they would feel a lot better on the other side of the ball, too.
Definitely. Like we said earlier, complimentary football, putting some motivation for your defense.
So a flag thrown. We'll see which way it goes.
Definitely a big drive here for Dunbar, like we just said. But if I was them, I'll definitely go into some. If I was the coach, play calling, just go into something that feels comfortable, something that feels right. That's been all camp. Even something simple as just inside zone. But not a good start if you're going to start first and 15, though.
Not a good one at all. But they will try to salvage this possession after the early penalty. Snap, Carr looking for a receiver, finds one that burns the cornerback, but the throw is over his head. The intended receiver that time was Davis.
Yeah, as you can see, it was a good breaking route right there. Just not able to connect with Carr. If they can do a little more of that they could have some good success, but definitely got to connect, though.
Just finding that rhythm. I think that's the second pass that we've seen where it's been kind of an overthrow, but they are close, so maybe we'll be able to find that.
Looks like it might be a little pass interference.
Looks like it may be.
Well, that's probably why he wasn't able to break out right there, right?
So that'll buy him a district at Berkshire first down. So we have 4:05 remaining here in the first quarter.
Trips closest to the Big Walnut sideline. Uh-oh.
Ball on the ground. Looks like he's able to hold on to possession, but a man diving in. That one, Taylor Royer.
Yeah, Dunbar just seems like, take one step forward, take 2 steps back, right? And if you want to get some momentum on offense, you got to cut these penalties off. It seems like they're always in the hole this whole game. 2nd and 15, 1st 15. And it's kind of been the mantra so far for this offense, unfortunately.
It seems like almost all the plays that they've had, it's just been a back against the wall scenario.
Yeah, and it's one of those things as an offense, you can't really get comfortable. You can't get in that rhythm like we talked about in the pregame. Oh, jeez Louise, his stick.
Take another look at that one. But just nowhere to go as they were looking inside.
Yeah, it looked like an inside linebacker. Boys, you see how he just shot the gap right there. He wasn't reading anything. His hair was on fire, as he used to say back in the day when I used to play.
That is why Eli Helton is first team All-Ohio. So a 3rd and 15, ball on their own 22-yard line. A mile to go, but have to get something going if they want to stay in this one. The snap, looking out to his right, feeling the pressure, brought down at the 10-yard line, a loss of 12.
And that's unfortunate for Dunbar. Can't really catch your break, but great for Big Walnut for bringing the heat. And looks like they got some cookies as it looked like Dunbar is going to come out to punt.
So the change in personnel. Okay, so it looks like they'll give him a little bit of forward progress, right around the 14. So 4th and 23. The kick is a line drive over the head of Hatfield.
Oh,
Hatfield
okay.
Fields it incorrectly out of the hand of the defender, but Big Walnut able to fall on top of that one. Wow, what a play.
As a returner, you got to feel that, be a little more confident. If you can't catch it, just yell, Peter, get away. Luckily for Big Walnut, they're able to jump back on it. But, I will say for Dunbar, great coverage and not letting that become a really bad situation for them, because it looked like he could have returned that as he dropped it as well.
That basket catch, I mean, you think about the situation. If that would have been a pass from Stumpf and he made that catch in the end zone, he'd be in our top 10, right? But that one was just a punt return.
Yeah, no, as they say.
So 2:15 remaining here in the first quarter. And they'll take over on their own 48-yard line. It's the first time they've started in their own territory so far tonight.
Interesting to see what's going to be the play call. Might see a nice little script of what they've been practicing all week, especially with this field position. the double motion.
Snap, handing it off. Burley following a blocker up the middle, wrapped up around the waist, stays on his feet. Let's see if he can do it again.
Wow.
Finally brought down at the 22-yard line.
Listen, I know Burley just had a great play right there, but I do not want to take anything away from that H-back on that kick-out block right there. Without that big grunt work from the big guys up front, none of that is possible. But once again, Burley is able to just make a play or two or three. Wow. And able to stay on his feet, too. He doesn't get much better than that, Bryce.
Brings up another district at Berkshire. First down for Big Walnut. Clock continuing to tick. 5 on the play clock now. 3 at the snap. Looking for it. Feels pressure. Stays on his feet. Towards the end zone.
Wow.
And finds a man. It's Owen Pollock for a touchdown.
Jeez Louise. Stumped with the NCAA play right there. As you can see, look at him dancing back there. Look at, whoopsies. Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me. And look at that. He let it flies, and he could have walked up to it and gave it to him better than that. Wow.
Well, I mean, I think the outside blitzer genuinely took him by surprise, but the awareness to be able to stay on his feet and step up into the pocket and still find a receiver.
Yeah, the concentration to poise from Stump, that was a great play. That keep making a lot of those. He could play on Saturdays.
So the kick is up and it's through. An 18-0 lead for Big Walnut with 1:27 remaining here in the first quarter. Stay with us.
Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home with the Champion Companies. Be part of a community where our team goes above and beyond because we want you to love where you live. Visit livewithchampion.com now and see how you can make the district at Berkshire your new home.
Minute 27 remaining here in the first quarter. Big Walnut now taking an 18-point lead as they're currently shutting out Dunbar. In the last possession, a little bit of success, not a 3-and-out as they were bailed out by pass interference call, but still a little bit of progress.
Yeah, and, as we said earlier, if the warning signs are going off that last series, it's definitely going off now. It's kind of seeming like this is a really big drive for Dunbar. They can get points right here. It can be pretty tough and get some momentum, get some confidence in their offense.
So a kick out of bounds will lead to the illegal procedure penalty and lead to great field position for Dunbar. We'll see if they're able to capitalize.
Definitely interested to see what the play call is going to be now that their backs are on their own end zone. But hopefully they maybe get a nice couple, maybe a screen, maybe something just to change up their play calling. Just something like they've been throwing everything at the wall. Just nothing's been able to stick so far.
So 1st and 10 on their own 35 in sight of the 50 and sniffing out Eagle territory. Carr out of the gun, looks to pass in the backfield, finds a man. This one, Dalton. Dalton shakes a defender, but is slammed. But not before they pick up about 3. Huge tackle for TJ Minor.
Yeah, it's a nice read by Carr. Kind of finds your running back underneath. Seeing like all the receivers ran goal routes are kind of cleared out for him. Able to make a nice little pickup right there. And forward progress, he did take a little hit, but that's kind of one of the things when you're running back.
3 wide receivers out to his right, 1 to his left, 1 man in the backfield at the running back. Looking to pass, steps up in the pocket, just nowhere to go. Smartly, I think, falls on the ground, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, as soon as he got the ball in his hands, he saw red jerseys in his face, and that's never a good feeling if you're Dunbar. Kudos to him, instead of trying to be Superman, trying to just, live to see another day.
Just doing what he has to do. So we'll see. The play clock is lower than the game clock, so I do think they're going to have to play this one out. 5 on the play clock now.
This is the best 3rd down position they've been all games. Hopefully they're able to capitalize on it.
Throwing away, almost not even looking at the wide receiver, and Brody Hatfield makes him pay.
Well, as you can see, he ran him like a book back there. As you can see, the quarterback had his eyes on that whole side of the field and kind of just threw it up there, played jackpot, and Brody said, "That is mine, $1,000."
So after the interception, that will bring up the end of the first quarter. Big Walnut leading the way 18-0 over Dunbar.
This place means everything to us. This is where we come together. We do all of our birthdays out here. We grill hamburgers and hot dogs. We fish. I was about to give up. I was about to think that the property wasn't going to become mine. Rural First specializes in solving the problems. I made the call, and the rest is history. It was done. It made everything easy. Questions answered, walked me through the process. It was done. When I'm here, just feel peace. That's all it means to me. Peace.
Live and free coverage of Big Walnut Athletics, proudly presented by the Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles, serving the community since 1898.
Second quarter action here in the Eagles' nest. Big Walnut will take over after the interception, handing it off this time to Brody Hatfield. Brody Hatfield looking up the middle with speed, brought down just short of the 50-yard line, but picks himself up a 1st down.
Yeah, it's a textbook jet sweep right there. Look at that block by number 3.
Nolan Burley.
Yes, sir. Those little plays make big. Those little things make big plays, Uh-oh.
On the ground, trouble with the snap, but finds a man in the middle. It's Owen Pollock, bounces one tackler, but finally brought down by a sea of white jerseys. Pickup, it looks like, of about 9. Another look here on our Reichert Sunbury Express.
Yeah, for Stump, when you get the snap on the carpet, you're able to make something out of nothing. That's always a good play right there. Uh-oh.
And that one able to catch a man offsides, as you'll see here in just a second. And that will lead to an easy 1st down for Big Walnut. Now inside the 40.
Gotta stay disciplined for Dunbar right here.
A deep pass towards the sideline in the basket for a touchdown. Bringing out all the theatrics tonight.
Wow, that is a goal route right there. He sure went in to the touchdown right there. That is a great play. Great pass by Stump, by the way.
Gavin Harrington with the reception on the touchdown, 24-0, as we see again on our Reichert Express Sunbury instant replay. Just a confident, perfect spiral into the basket.
Man, call that lucky charms. He definitely threw a rainbow right there, man. Unfortunately, a little unlucky for Dunbar.
Yeah. Trailing by a lot now. Jake Neff will line up for the PAT. And a flag called, offsides.
Looking at the sideline, I wouldn't be surprised if Big Walnut decides to put their offense back on the field. It seems like they're firing on all cylinders right now.
So another encroachment penalty.
Uh-oh. We see a personnel change coming.
Oh, yeah. It looks like they're sending Stumpf onto the field to lead the offense here. Another 2-point conversion opportunity.
Big Walnut being aggressive in the second quarter. Interesting. I like to see it. But if it's not broke, why fix it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, right now, what, a 3-score game? The extra point would have made it a 4-score regardless. Handoff to Burley, puts his head down, runs across, ball is loose, and they're going to rule him short, I believe. We'll take another look here.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a great fill of the gap by number 12 from Dunbar.
So I think one of the first times tonight that one
Jones
does not go Big Walnut's way.
And you know that's a good stop for defense. You know it's a small one, but it just shows that we can do something on the side of the ball. And it might not be the biggest, it might not make the highlight reel at the end of the game, but it's all about that confidence, especially early on in the season, Bryce.
Absolutely. So 10:58 remaining here in the second quarter. You're nearing running clock territory.
If you're Dunbar here, it's a pretty big order and big. So if for offense, if I was them, just do something to get their confidence, do something to instill something. It's just a long season, and you want to see what your players are made of. It's all fun and games. You're up on top, but how you can respond when you're down, it shows a lot about your team.
And if you're first-year coach D. Powell for Dunbar, this one will once again go out of bounds. You're watching probably as closely as you are in close games because you're looking to build a program. You're looking for who's really fighting in moments like these when seemingly no one's watching, but these are the moments I think that really matter in these types of games.
Definitely builds character. Sometimes just in football and just in life, you get hit in the mouth, and just how you respond and how can you get up and dust yourself off and keep on going. It might not be the most beautiful thing at times, but it's all about just taking that step forward, and hopefully Dunbar can take a step forward in the offense right now. Seems like they have pretty good field position.
Good opportunity to do so. Ball once again on the 35, 1st and 10.
Coming out once again, that pistol look.
A flag called. We'll see who they call it on. False start.
Beep. Beep, beep. That's been the mantra of the game, just always going backwards if you're Dunbar. And it's hard to get ahead or even try to take advantage of these penalties if you're always going backwards. Once again, take a step forward, 2 steps back.
It does, in fact, set him back 5 yards. Out of the pistol, the snap is high and hard. Nowhere to go. The second it's handed off, the play is blown up in the backfield.
Yeah, look at this. The Big Walnut's front seven just having their way with Dunbar's push. There's no push by the Dunbar's line. It's hard to get that run game established if you can't, get a couple yards. And definitely doesn't do your passing game any favors as well, especially when you get these predictable passing situations.
TJ Miner having himself a night defensively on the defensive line, the 6'2 junior. And a timeout will be called by Dunbar.
It looked like Coach wants to think this over a bit, Once again, it's kind of hard to go in your playbook and get a 2nd and 20, 3rd and 15. There's not a lot of plays you can call, but once again, maybe he has had a trick he can go into and make some magic happen.
So with this break in the action, We will take a quick second to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC. If you want a locally owned HVAC company with over 35 years experience to do top quality work without cutting corners, call Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling Wing at 740-345-2021. That's 740-345-2021. Sunbury Christian, it's about relationship, not religion. Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles, 3614, serving the Sunbury community and supporter of Big Walnut football. New members are always welcome. Reichert Express Sunbury. Shop Reichert Used Cars right here in Sunbury at Reichert Express Used Cars right next to Tanger Outlets. We're dealing. Stover Excavating Incorporated, residential in commercial excavation services for the greater Columbus area since 2000. The district at Berkshire. Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home at the district at Berkshire. Brand new 1- and 2-bedroom apartment homes now available. Delaware Public Health District. Join us at 9 a.m. on Saturday, September 13th for the 14th annual Suicide Prevention Walk at Ohio Wesleyan University, hosted by the Delaware Suicide Prevention Coalition. And Rule First. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Rule First, the leader in rural leading. Rule First can help you live closer to what matters.
Yeah, as you can see, they try to do a nice little bubble screen for that play. But, you know, it's so simple as pitch and catch. But sometimes when you don't catch it, it's kind of hard for you to make a play. So hopefully they can capitalize on this next play going forward. Okay, motion coming back, number 2.
Looking to pass over the middle, off the hands of a defender, off the hands of another defender, almost intercepted. Ball ping-pongs around a little bit.
Yeah, I see the vision for Carr. He's trying to layer the ball over. That's the front 7 of linebackers. But once again, number 36 from Big Walnut, Will Clausen made the play. Show everybody he has little hops, man. His weeds today. Let's see that.
So now lining up in the 4th down scenario. 10:02 remaining. Snap. Almost blocked by Burley. Hatfield backing up, fields this one cleanly, looking for some space, picks up a block, picks up another, bouncing out towards the left side into territory of the Wolverines, crossing the 40 and finally brought down around the 37.
Great return by Hatfield right there. Like I said earlier, special teams is third the game, and they had their ball positioning has been just excellent this whole game for Big Walnut.
Just so comfortable with the ball as he's navigating the field. I mean, just able to find the blockers so easily and then, you know, correspond with their movements.
Definitely. And it's one of the things, like, especially being on punt team, once they get out their lanes, it's kind of hard to catch it where the guy's running. So, once again, hats off to Brody. Shotgun look for Big Walnut.
Wide receiver on each side, hands it off, keeps it himself. Just trying to fight forward, and he's brought down. That one, Jackson Barnicott, the ball carrier at quarterback.
Nice little read option. Got a couple, nice pickup by Stump.
So Stump checking back into the game after the rep from Barnicott. Now lining up under center out of the eye. 2nd and 10, handing off. Burley wrapped up around the ankles, and lucky they did because he had a full head of steam towards the end zone.
Yeah, a lot of green looking forward. That was looking pretty scary if you're Dunbar right there.
Hold on for dear life and hope he falls down. Yeah. So 3rd and 4 situation. Ball on the 32.
This will be big if Dunbar's able to go out the field right here, Bryce.
Under center, puts a man in motion. The snap, keeps it himself, seeing trouble. The pass to Hatfield is tipped, it looks like, by the defender, and it comes up just short.
I'm interested to see what Big Walnut does here. It's kind of an awkward positioning for for your offense. If you punt it, I mean, what are you going to do? Go for 20 yards? I could definitely see them go for it right here, especially how their offense has been humming, Bryce.
It does look like that's the plan. Jake Neff with the boot. I mean, likely could have tried it at 49 yards with a 7-yard drop.
Definitely. Uh-oh.
But if, oh, what's this? Looks like timeout called.
Yeah.
So 2 timeouts remaining for Big Walnut, 1 for Dunbar. So a chance just to really make sure they can get this right. And you think potentially even they're trying to draw someone off sides with how much luck they've had in the past. I mean, that would have handed them the first down.
Definitely. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of hard count right now. Or even maybe a little rushing the offense try to catch them off their A game right here, catch them sleeping.
So 8:25 remaining here in the second quarter after the timeout. Big Walnut on the Wolverine 32, 4th and 4. They'll need to get it to the 28-yard line in order to convert.
Looks like an offside formation.
That's what it is. Following the blocker, gets the first down and a little bit more as he continues to fight. A late whistle finally blows it dead.
That's just a backbreaker for Dunbar. You know, got him on the first 4th down, if I'm not mistaken, and not able to get a stop right there. But for Big Walnut, you know, that's a good thing, seeing the chains move, and just kind of showing what you're kind of made of, and especially early on in the season. Giving the offense a nice boost of confidence right there.
So 1st and 10 on the 25, hands it off in the backfield. Looking for any room at all, just able to pick up about a yard or so. It's Jackson Barnicut that they hand it off to. So Barnicut officially registered as a quarterback and kind of using a 2-quarterback front, perhaps a little bit of perception.
That's definitely interesting, you know, just kind of keeping the defense on their toes, especially you got to have a big lead. It's nice to just kind of flesh out the playbook, see what we got, and kind of see what we got moving forward. But that's definitely an interesting play call. I definitely can see that maybe they can run that later down the season.
I am always a big fan of getting things on the record, making your opponents have to prepare for things that may happen, not things that they know are going to happen. Handing it off to Burley. Burley with space. Jukes a man looking towards the pylon, and another untouched touchdown. Nolan Burley scoots into the end zone.
Look at this right here. Look at Burley hitting the hole harder. Look, whoopee, brother, left him in the dust, and the rest was kind of just like ABC.
Such a great understanding that you don't always have to be moving forward 110 miles an hour, using the lateral movement to his advantage, able to create some space on the defensive backs.
Definitely. Burley was going the one way and the defender was going the other, definitely for sure.
So the kick to make it 31-0 is good. So 6:55 remaining here in the second quarter. Big Walnut leading the way 31-0. Stay with us for the remainder of the second quarter.
Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home with the Champion Companies. Be part of a community where our team goes above and beyond because we want you to love where you live. Visit livewithchampion.com now and see how you can make the district at Berkshire your new home.
Big Walnut with a 31-0 lead over Dunbar. They will kick it away. Dunbar, not much signs of life, but they have had some brighter moments where they're able to pick up a couple of first downs. This one fielded right around the 2-yard line. With pace, he's wrapped up and brought down right around the 13-yard line.
If you're Dunbar, I see the vision, you know, special teams trying to pump some juice into this team. It just kind of seems like they came a little flat right now, and that's okay, but anything, you know, if you're a team just trying to make a play, just once again, give a spark into your team and some motivation, because right now Dunbar just seems like they're a little flat right now.
Not much success for them, but things can always change. You know, you feel like if they get a touchdown or two, you know, they would take that home and feel like that was a moral victory. Not able to pick up a score in week 1, but perhaps could change the tune in the second half.
Definitely, you know, something just to look forward to in the film session, this upcoming preparation for the next game. But, yeah, something just to build on once again, just instill their offense, give them some type of breath of life.
So a gain of a yard will lead to 2nd and 9. Ball on their own 16. They'll need to work it up to about the 25. Out of the gun, 2 wide receivers on either side of him. 1 man in the backfield. Man in motion, it's Jolly. Behind the quarterback, looking in the backfield. It's a low pass that skips into the ankles of Jolly.
Yeah, nice little orbit. Looks like orbit screen over here. But you know, if you're Carr, you gotta hit it right in between the numbers right there. You know, make your players have a chance to make a play.
And unfortunately, that was probably one of the clearest looks they've had so far tonight. Really got to make that count.
Yeah, definitely.
So now 3rd and 9.
Just seems like Dunbar can't really get anything going, unfortunately. But you know, maybe something to look forward to. They have not had a false starter, a negative 5 yards so far in this series. So that's.
Dunbar has called a timeout. That will be their 3rd and final. And so perhaps it's the drive. Perhaps, you know, it's feeling a little bit rushed because they came in a little bit late. But also this game a testament to the strength of how good Big Walnut is. And we're seeing some of that tonight.
Definitely. You know, just their ground and pound game. You know, Burley's just been having a nice little game today. But it's just been, I feel like everybody's going to have their moments. You know, I feel like Stubb had a good pass earlier on in the game. And I feel like, you know, Brody has also had a couple good plays. So it's just nice that it's a spread of the wealth sometimes for Big Walnut. Because it just takes players make plays. It's just simple like that, you know.
So after the timeout, it'll be 3rd and 9.
Dunbar coming out and trips to the right. Interested to see what's going to happen. What's the play call here, Bryce?
Pass out of his hands. It's
fumble.
A fumble. Able to recover. And into the end zone. It's a defensive touchdown.
Just talking about spreading the wealth right there, Bryce. You know, it doesn't get much better than that. It seems like, you know, Big Walnut's just firing on all cylinders, all 3 facets of the ball. So, wow. I love to see it when the big guys get a touchdown, though. Do your dance, big man. Do your dance.
So now lining up for the PAT. 37-0 over Dunbar so far. Kick is up. and through. So now 38-0 over Dunbar. We'll take another break. 5:56 remaining here in the second quarter.
Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home with the Champion Companies. Be part of a community where our team goes above and beyond because we want you to love where you live. Visit livewithchampion.com now and see how you can make the district at Berkshire your new home.
So back for second quarter action, 5:56 remaining, and we'll just call it down here. So it looks like they'll rule it down around the 6. They'll have a long, long way to go, but they have a little bit of time to work with if they do manage to work it down there.
And it just seems like if you're Dunbar, when it rains, it pours, right? It seems like there's nothing that's going right, especially on offense. But once again, it's just like this is kind of dig deep and see what you're made of. You know, dude, you're not really doing this for the scoreboard. Kind of just doing this for pride. Build on something so you can take it into next week.
So starting out at the 7-yard line officially. First and 10, Carr looking for a receiver. No, it looks like they've made a substitution. That pass offline.
Yeah, it looked like Big Walnut might have got their hands on that one. That could have been real bad real soon. Oh, brother.
Josiah Jones getting some reps at the quarterback position. The 5'10" senior. So set and ready for second down. 3 wide receivers out to his right, 1 wide out to his left. The snap all alone in the backfield now. The pressure, able to find a receiver, but he's drilled as he throws. Brought down around the 5-yard line and ended up being a loss.
Yeah, the Big Walnut defensive flow right there kind of just figured that one out real soon, real quick. Nice form tackle by number 12, Cole Heisel.
Well, perhaps something calculated here where they know the Big Walnut defense is out for blood, right? Looking for those stops in the backfield and, you know, quarterback getting drilled, but they were able to free up a wide receiver really well in that play.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a good read. It's kind of a hard situation for Dunbar. You know, it's obvious passing situation right here. But able to make a small play right there and hopefully make a difference. Playing some
trouble in the end zone, and it's a safety.
Yeah, that is something you just do not want to do if you're Dunbar. Like we said, when it's raining, it's pouring, and you hate to see that, Bryce. You know, trying to make a play, but it just seemed like there was just nothing downfield open, and kind of had to, unfortunately, you know, take
your
that medicine.
there,
yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe he had just was able to get it ahead, but no, it is a safety. Big Walnut leading this one 40-0. We'll line up for the free kick. Everything going right for Big Walnut.
Yeah, they don't really come out like a lot of games like this. You know, it's just really one of those things. You know, you're firing on cylinders. You know, maybe they had a nice pizza lunch today, or maybe, you know, might be the that after school Sammys that gave them the boost, but it just seems like they were hungry. They definitely seem a little desperate to get a win tonight.
Definitely so. Now waiting on Big Walnut as they're in the huddle. Free kick team out for Dunbar. Be sure to stay with us through halftime as we bring you the band show for both sides. Lining up, looks like Burley and Hatfield back to receive it around the 35-yard line. Ten on the play clock. Kick is a line drive straight into the chest of Brody Hatfield, who just takes the knee, and they'll start things off right around the 31-yard line of their own. Another look on our Reichert Express Sunbury instant replay. So a fun night for Big Walnut, as it has been all them so far, but the crowd really turning out tonight. I mean, packing almost the entire place here on the home side.
Yeah, definitely. As I was walking in, love to see it, the tailgating, the smiles, the dancing. Definitely seemed like they missed their Golden Eagles, and it's nice for them to kick off the season in a pretty nice way for Big Walnut so far.
And if you haven't been out here, we love having you on the broadcast, don't get us wrong, but if you have not been out to the Eagles Nest, it is a really special atmosphere out here.
Definitely. And as soon as I was walking in, you can feel it in the air that this community just really cares about their Golden Eagles, and the way they showed out and just seeing people walk to the stadium and having their hot dogs and popcorn on, it should remind you what makes Friday Night Lights so special here, Bryce.
After last week, we learned that hot dogs were a luxury, didn't we? Ran out of hot dogs at the concession stand.
Yeah, so early, and I was definitely hungry, so you hate to see that.
So 2nd and 5, ball on their own 37. They have 2 timeouts to work with if they do want to work it down. Handoff to Burley, breaks a tackle around the waist, continuing to fight, crosses the 50-yard line, and is brought down in Wolverine territory.
Burley doing Burley things, like you said earlier. Look at this little juke right there. Whoopsies. Oh, brother. He's going to definitely have a nice little huddle highlight tape out of this one, Bryce.
And it's hard to characterize exactly what he is. Is he a power runner? Is he a speed runner? I mean, he's like the perfect combination of both almost.
Definitely. Like I said, when I saw those stats first glance, I was like, no way, this guy is real. He does things better than my creative player on NCAA sometimes. So, sometimes it's just nice to have a best of both worlds. A little lightning and thunder in the bottle.
Burley, another first down. And just racking up now. Chop in the wood if you're Big Walnut here, especially when you're kind of up big this early, kind of doing what you do best is running the ball, just taking the air out of the ball and trying to go home and get some pizza if you're Big Walnut. Yeah. So another 1st and 10 situation for them. Now the ball on the Wolverine 37.
Got $10 and they're going to hand off to Burley.
Barnicut hands it off, this time not to Burley, subbing him out, giving him a break. See who that is. Looks like Tiquan Bunting. So typically in the blocking front as the fullback, but Certainly had his fair share of carries last year, 34 to be exact.
Maybe probably see this kind of moving forward in the game, probably getting the main stars a little time and getting the other guys some play time. So nice to see, you're getting rewarded, doing some great blocks for Burley, and getting the reward that you getting some carries as well. Oh, he turned the corner
once again.
Okay.
With room inside the red zone before he's finally pushed out of bounds. That's Braden Neverman, the 5'7" junior.
And Bryce, in that last play, he used every bit of that 5'7" right there.
Yeah.
Sometimes, those smaller bats can kind of get a little lost in the sauce, back there. And as a defender, it's kind of hard. You can kind of lose track of them sometimes.
Well, defensively, you've kind of fallen into this lull where you're so used to Burley just coming at you with speed. Suddenly, when a guy's agile around the corner, a bit of a mix-up, but a long flag is going to be called against Big Walnut.
Well, once again, a great run, but there's maybe reason why it was so great, and it looks like it might be maybe a little bit of a hold, unfortunately, for Big Walnut.
Fortunately so. 2:13 remaining here in the second quarter. Barnacut in at the quarterback, leading the offense. Jack Rigg and Brody Hatfield out wide. Eight on the play clock. The snap. Hands it off. Neverman with space falls forward. Just a few yards short of the first down marker. It'll bring up second down.
Okay, and that's a great run by Neverman. He's cutting up, find his way through the line. He says, Neverman. Never. You're never going down. And that's what you love to see, especially in your running back room. So
correction, 3rd and 7 on this one. So a little bit of room to work with that they'll need to pick up if they want to convert it. Clock continuing to tick. They have 2 timeouts to work with. 3 on the play clock. The snap at the buzzer. Barnacut puts his head down, takes it across the first down marker and more. What a smart heads-up play there.
Love that little quarterback keeper. Nice little read option. Able to keep his balance and make a play of it. Nice play by Barnacut. Nice play.
So an injury timeout as player down working out the right leg. It's a Dunbar player around the 40. So going into the locker room, I mean, for Dunbar, you've got to be saying, we got to treat this like a 0-0 game and try to win the second half. 40 is a lot to come back with, but if they could get, even close, pick up a few scores, that's a victory for them.
Definitely, and I hate to sound a little cliche, Bryce, but like you say, you kind of have to have that mindset. Going in like it's a fresh new game, and just building on something to take it the next week. Like maybe, hey, let's just try to get a couple first downs. Look at so when we look at film at the end of this week, we can look at something a little better at the end of the day, So still a lot of game to play, but if you're Dunbar, like I said, it's got to take the little things and just try and move forward here.
Approaching the 30-second mark here in the second quarter. Again, stay with us for the band show at halftime. We'll take a quick break and then bring you that band show. Handing it off to Barnacut. No, Barnacut taking it himself across the 10-yard line, trying to fight the defender, brought down around the 6, out of bounds, and that will stop the clock.
Once again, Big Walnut's using this read option. It seems like they really like it with this offensive duo in the backfield, and it's paying off for him. Barnacut's showing him why he's a little elusive back there.
Barnecut last year with only 2 rushes and 5 rushing yards. Well surpassed that at this point.
Just the series, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's already a success for Barnecut. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran a read option one more time because, once again, if it's not broke, why fix it?
Well, I mean, imagine as a coach the feeling of versatility you get from having 2 viable people who can step in any situation, can really lead the offense.
Definitely a 2-headed monster on defenses that will have you losing sleep. And that's something that, if you're Big Walnut, you just want to capitalize on, and just like you said, there's so much room that you can build on those type of things. It could be a read option, maybe a RPO action, or even maybe like a nice little triple option. They bring another back there. Maybe get like a Brody Hatfield in the mix sometimes. Once again, just see what can happen in the future, but it could be interesting to see, especially like this is working so much for Big Walnut. Like you said, maybe they can take this into the film next week and build on it.
So officially ruled down at the 6-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. 19 seconds to work with. So they'll disperse. Big Walnut with 1 timeout remaining, none for Dunbar.
And if you're Dunbar right here, like we said, just take these little small opportunities and try to make them big opportunities. If I'm the coach right now, hey, make a statement. Hey, not right here, not right now. Let's play some defense. Let's build on something, take it to halftime, and we'll look at the X's and O's and try and do something important.
Putting Neverman in motion. Barnecut will take it himself, and an easy jog into the end zone. Big Walnut on the board once again.
Yeah, Barnecut, once again, if it's not broke, why fix it? And he could have ran and got a hot dog from the concession stand and came back. That was just a nice one.
So while the clock wasn't issued, only took them 4 seconds after the timeout to get themselves the touchdown. Now lining up for a PAT to make it a 47-point lead with 15 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
And if you're Dunbar right here, it's one of those things, you hate to see it, but look, once again, it's a lot of football to be left, and sometimes you just have to grow up a little bit and just kind of take a lesson. And what can we do once again, get together? How can we get better as a team? Who are we made of, and how do we want to be next half?
Big Walnut leading 47-0 over Dunbar. Stay with us.
Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home with the Champion Companies. Be part of a community where our team goes above and beyond because we want you to love where you live. Visit livewithchampion.com now and see how you can make the district at Berkshire your new home.
Kick is up. Adonis Davis will field it. No, he pulls his hands back and lets it go into the end zone for a touchback. Just about 15 seconds for them to work with. 80 yards to go. We'll see what they decide to do. No timeouts to work with either.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to hear Bryce. They just kind of took a knee, got their bearings, and headed on to half. But who knows? Maybe, show some fight. Maybe take a shot.
So at the line of scrimmage now.
Do his look right here. Wouldn't be surprised if Falls goes here, Bryce.
Jolly in motion, handing it off on the jet sweep. Picks up about 4 yards across the line of scrimmage. They will keep the clock running. It does look like that's going to be the last play of the half. And it is. So both teams to the locker room. What a show for Big Walnut. 48-0 over Dunbar with just 2 quarters of play in the book. Stay with us for the halftime band show coming up next.
Take a look at all the action from Friday night football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
This place means everything to us. This is where we come to.
Listening to it. Right. You know, we're doing this year. Last year, they've gone on Thursday, televised. One or something. It's like a week or a week when they play up. Varsity plays on Thursday.
firework.
Brian, you didn't get me! Brian, you didn't get me!
Slumdog Millionaire. Featuring our color guard, here is Jai Ho.
This place means everything to us. This is where we come together. We do all of our birthdays out here. We grill hamburgers and hot dogs. We fish. I was about to give up. I was about to think that the property wasn't going to become mine. Rural First specializes in solving the problems. I made the call, and the rest is history. It was done. It made everything easy. Questions answered, walked me through the process. It was done. When I'm here, just feel peace. That's all it means to me. Peace.
Live and free coverage of Big Walnut Athletics, proudly presented by the Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles, serving the community since 1898.
You're strong, you're valued, you're loved, and we're just so happy to have you here.
This event is one of the greatest things ever to see community come together and see people pay tribute to those that they love and those that they've lost.
Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you've been through, you don't have to go through it alone.
show, and 2 quarters of play in the books. Big Walnut leading this one 48-0 over Dunbar. And what else can you say? I mean, it's been all Big Walnut tonight.
Yeah, definitely. You know, firing on cylinders. Everything seems like it could go right for Big Walnut. You know, just a nice signature Burley game. Kind of just been running amok on the defense. You know, for Dunbar, I mean, not a lot has been going right. So hopefully they can figure some stuff out in the second half. And build some confidence going forward. But yeah, I mean, for Big Walnut, this is definitely a good kind of quote-unquote get-right game. You know, especially after that kind of heartbreaker against Bishop Arts. And kind of just need to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know, just everything we still want to accomplish this season still on the board. You know, obviously, you know, that hurts your pride a little bit, but able to get right, take care of business, and if they keep doing what they keep doing, you know, end up being 1-1 at the end of this game. So,
taking a look at our stats through 2 quarters of play, and Big Walnut with 12 first downs, 209 passing yards, 86 rushing yards, to make a total of 295 total yards, 0 turnovers, 4 penalties, 40 penalty yards, and for Dunbar, 1 first down, 2 passing yards, negative 34 rushing yards for a total of negative 32 total yards in the game. 2 turnovers, an interception, and a fumble that didn't go their way. 5 penalties for a total of 25 penalty yards. And as a defense, I mean, anytime you can hold the other team with negative yardage at halftime, you got to be feeling great.
Yeah, I mean, that's signature click. You know, they've been in the seatbelt. They had nowhere to go. Kind of just been keeping Dunbar in a cage right now, just in the way, you know, just like I said, like it's just been really bad. Like in a way, just really believe me, it's kind of speechless right now. Yeah. I'm sorry. Never seen a negative half, but you know, I feel like it can only go up from here if you're Dunbar, right? So take something into the next half. You know, trying to do anything you can do, even just getting a couple first downs, even if it's 3. That's positive yards. That's something you can build on to next week, right?
And you look at the sideline now of Big Walnut, and so many guys on that sideline. You look over the sideline when you get the opportunity of Dunbar, and very few guys. This program is definitely a lot smaller. This is first-year coach D. Powell. Previously did football training, but is now at the helm of the Dunbar Wolverines, and definitely a development period for this program.
It definitely. You know, it's just as a first season coach, you know, you have a lot to kind of like. It's like we start in a house sometimes. You got to take everything down to the studs and kind of see what works, what doesn't work, and who you are as a coach and who your team is. And I definitely feel like this is going to be a lot of character building this second half, and it's going to be. Hopefully they can take some good strides so they can build something to, you know, have a great rest of their season. Because they have a lot of great parts. It's just sometimes getting them all to fit together, you know.
Definitely the athleticism, I think, is there for Dunbar, but kind of that refinement into the football correspondence with the guys. I mean, learning how to gel with one another.
Definitely. And one of those things is like sometimes as the season goes on, you learn those things. And when you kind of face this type of adversity as a football team, it kind of brings you together. So hopefully, you know, take a couple of lumps as a team tonight. Dust yourself off and move on to the next week moving forward. But days like this, you kind of look to the left or the right and see who your teammates are and who you go in the foxhole with, you know.
And a squibbed kick way across the 50-yard line. This one picked up and on the run before he's pushed out of bounds. Hard to see who that was. But that will start us off here in the third quarter. So Big Walnut will take over here, firing on all cylinders, even have a defensive touchdown to their record. Able to strip it, fall into the end zone, even a safety to the defense's credit.
I know, like we said, it's kind of like 2 sides of a coin right there. When it rains, it pours. And sometimes it's when it's bad, but when it's good, it's good. And it's been really good for Big Walnut here. You know, when you can score all 3 facets of the game, you know, defense, offense, you know, the passing and rushing. You know, I know they're going to look forward to watching film this week. So that's always a plus, especially coming off a loss last week.
Such a tough season opener for Big Walnut. They were able to string together a few really good possessions, but were just overwhelmed by the defense. But, you know, the caliber of team that Watterson was and how well they were able to hold on for how long they were able to hold on, I mean, you get the sense that this is a team that could really make a deep run.
Definitely. You definitely can see that. They have a lot of character, and you can definitely tell it's a younger team, but each week they're maturing, and I could definitely see them developing to a nice team. I definitely think last week, you know, a couple kids grew up after that game, but that's necessary to have a successful season, you know.
Now under center, handing it off to Brady Simon once again. Looks like they have Caden Weaver playing quarterback right now, the sophomore, so perhaps getting a look at the future of this program as well.
And if you're Big Walnut here, that's something that you want to see. How are your young guys going to adjust to playing a little bit underneath some Friday night lights, getting their feet wet just a tad? And it's, like you said, it's a nice little peek into the future. What's going to be, in a way, these little small walnuts, big walnuts down the road.
So now a man in motion. Handing it off once again, bouncing off the blocker, seeing some daylight. And a pickup of about 5.
As you can see, I think Simon's just running into the back of his blocker right there. That's one of those things, if you can't get out the way, you go through them. That's what I was always taught when you're running the rock. Nice little shotgun look for Big Walnut here.
Weaver handing it off, brought down in the backfield for a loss. So some good reps for Simon and perhaps an introduction to the varsity game as well.
And it's good reps for Dunbar as well. You know, it's like you said, it's just learning, getting reps, getting better as a team, getting better as a squad. I remember when I looked at them, they only had one scrimmage in the offseason. So technically, like last game was their really second time on the field as a team, and kind of just learning who they are, learning what they got, and like you say, just getting better each rep. That's the only thing you can do in a game like this.
So now on the third down, another quick handoff. Able to get some yardage, but not nearly enough. Ruled down around the 39-yard line as it brings up fourth down.
And if you're Dunbar, you know, you got to pat yourself on the back right there. It seems like they bring the punt team out right here. And, you know, even though it might seem a drop in the bucket, but it's something to build on. Hey, maybe we got them off the field. Seems like let's try to capitalize, just get into our offense, get into a rhythm, and just try to chain some first downs together.
So Neff, the punter, will take it around the 25, taking about a 5-yard leap. A big punt, crosses the 35, continues to roll, and down to around the 30-yard line.
Got a great punt by Neff right there. It's always a good sign when you send punt out. It's the first time in the second half. So.
Yeah.
I know his leg was pretty stiff, probably.
So now they'll take over on their own 30-yard line. A lot of work to do, but a lot of fresh faces in on defense as well, getting some really quality reps and a big situation in front of the Friday night lights and a big crowd here at the Eagles Nest.
Definitely, and just for both sides of the ball, just like we said earlier, just getting those reps, getting better, see what you guys are made of. For Dunbar, you know, just every inch count, and try to move forward, string some first downs together, see what you guys are made of. Oh, wow.
A deep ball is over the head of the intended receiver. Maybe thought it would have been intercepted for a second, but cornerback's having trouble spotting that one.
And this has just kind of been the record all day, you know, just kind of seemed like they might have a couple good looks, but, you know, in the hindsight of things, kind of probably a ball that's probably the best. Guys that hit the carpet right there, Bryce. I think I saw 4 red defenders in the area, so it's probably probably been best if that wasn't called by anybody.
So now Josiah Jones leading the offense for the Wolverines, has 3 wide receivers out to his right, 1 to his left. Defensive line for Big Walnut spreads, looking to pass, looking in the backfield, and it's 10 yards over the head of the intended receiver. That one, he was looking for Mark Dalton.
Yeah, it seemed like they just kind of wanted to hit the running back underneath. You know, it seemed like they just kind of haven't been able to connect on that underneath route all game. And you know, for like sometimes, like we say, you gotta do some of the basics right, and that's something that we can probably see them trying to tune up probably as the game progresses here.
I mean, that's a deceptively long pass as well. I mean, you're in the backfield. You're technically going for 0 yards up the field, but, I mean, that's still a good 20, 30-yard pass.
Definitely. And, like, what people don't understand, too, as a running back, you know, you're kind of moving your body and not looking at the defenders. So it can kind of be a little disheartening, too. As soon as you turn around, there might be 4 Big Walnut defenders in your face. So, you know, you hear footsteps on the field, and that can definitely play a factor as well. So, but once again, just trying to get in that groove. You know, running some things again, kind of good on good, like we say in the football world. Just taking those quality reps of like, hey, this is how it's going to be in a game speed. You know.
So approaching 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 6 on their own 34. They'll need to get to the 40.
If you're Dunbar, I definitely understand it. You know, what good is the punt going to do for you right here?
Oh, we have a timeout called by Dunbar now. So their first of the half. They'll have 2 remaining. Big Walnut still with 3. That is one of the scenarios where the clock will stop here. Maybe even that situation, you just kind of wanted to get a look at the personnel of Big Walnut to see what they were sending out and didn't like what he saw and decided to call the timeout. We'll see which way he goes now.
Definitely maybe wanted to take a look back at the playbook. Maybe he saw something that he liked. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for it again. Like, kind of burn the boats type of situation. Just trying to get better, get some quality reps for the offense right here, Bryce.
Now back to the line of scrimmage we go. With 2 men on his left. On his right, rather. He sends one of them away. Looking to pass. Guys there immediately. Almost intercepted. Batted down instead by the defensive lineman. Go ahead and give the credit there to Avery Henson.
He read that like a book. He said, no way, Jose. Get out of my face. That is something that you kind of peek out there in film. And I definitely seem like he definitely watched a little bit of film on that one.
Yeah. I think once he looks back, he's going to realize how wide open he was. And I think he would have thought, I wish I would have caught that there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely in film. I could definitely see him get a little roasted by his teammates. Say, hey, man, you had a touchdown right there.
Right. But inevitably the smart play, right?
Definitely some smart play. Let your defense get settled. Let your offense get out. Make a good play.
And so a man for Dunbar is down right around the 42-yard line. As he's on his feet. That was Cameron Everett. So now Big Walnut will take over with fantastic field position. On Dunbar's 34. They're going to continue to go with Caden Weaver at quarterback. Man on his right hip. A motion man. Crossing, hands it off. Looking for space, putting the head down, picking up a few yards. That's Kobe Jenkins, the 5'10" sophomore running back.
Good size for running back as well. Definitely can't wait to see how he develops here at the Big Walnut program. Coming down the I formation.
Defense stacking the box. There's
look like a little false start for Big Walnut on Kobe.
Indeed, that's what it is. Sounds like there's calls for Reggie. We want Reggie chants. I don't know who that is.
You know, sometimes when you're in the student section, it's kind of a game like this. There's only so many chances you can say, right? You can say, I believe we can win so many times. So,
oh, trouble with the snap, falling on top of it. Looks like they were just lucky to hold on to it. We'll take another look here. Trouble with it. Yeah, right away into the hands, and the fullback ends up kicking it forward.
it seems like they actually gained yards on that play. Yeah. So, like as we say, like everything's kind of going right for Big Walnut.
Add that one to the playbook, maybe. Yeah.
The old Ford from Peruski, I'd say.
Now handing it off. This time to Mason Moore, who is brought down in the backfield on the lateral run.
Good foreign tackle by Derek Hardy right there.
And then holding call on the offense will set him back.
Probably take us to the end of the quarter, probably.
Very well may, as we're inside of 30 seconds. So the penalty is declined. It'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, it looks like that might take us to the end of the quarter, Bryce.
Indeed, it will. So 3 quarters of play in the books. Big Walnut maintaining this 48-0 lead over Dayton Dunbar. Stay with us.
You're strong, you're valued, you're loved, and we are just so happy to have you here.
This event is one of the greatest things ever, to see community come together and see people pay tribute to those that they love and those that they've lost.
Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you've been through, you don't have to go through it alone.
So it's 4th and 12 for Big Walnut. Flag thrown once again. Another false start.
It's been a lot of flags this game from both
I
sides
know,
of the
yeah.
ball. The referee's probably going to ice your wrist. How many flags did they throw?
So 4th and 17. looking for space, doesn't find much at all. He's about 5 yards short of the original line of scrimmage.
And once again, you're Dunbar right there. Hey, I put that to check in my positive box. Able to get off the field. That's two series now on the roll, right? So, and once again, it might seem like a drop in the bucket. And I know it might look like a tall order, but those are just the small intricacies that you can build into the game plan, into film, and look at your team. Like, hey, I know, look at the score, but these are things we did right, you know. And it may be far in between, but it's something that you can just say, hey, guys, you know, it's there. We can do it. Move forward. So
absolutely. And for D. Powell, I mean, even, you know, an opportunity to reframe it to say, you know, we're exposing where our weaknesses are and playing such a high caliber team. This is an opportunity to figure out where we're really lacking and where we can really start getting better.
Definitely. And kind of going forward, looking yourself in the mirror as a team, like, hey, these are where we're lacking. Let's not get into these situations as a team and do ourselves favors. Like, maybe not having a lot of false starts. Like, these are kind of little things that seem minute, but in the grand scheme of a game, be very big.
So with the timeout by Dunbar, we'll take a quick second to thank our sponsors. Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC. If you want a locally owned HVAC company with over 35 years experience to do top quality work without cutting corners, call Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling. Call Wing at 7403-452-021. Sunbury Christian Church. It's about relationship, not religion. Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles 3614. Serving the Sunbury community and proud supporter of Big Walnut football. New members are always welcomed. Reichert Express Sunbury. Shop Reichert used cars right here in Sunbury at Reichert Express used cars right next to Tanger Outlets. We're dealing. Stover Excavating Incorporated. Residential and commercial excavation services for the greater Columbus area since 2000. The District at Berkshire. Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home at the District at Berkshire. Brand new 1- and 2-bedroom apartment homes available now. Delaware Public Health District. Join us at 9 a.m. on Saturday, September 13th for the 13th annual Delaware Suicide Prevention Walk at Ohio Wesleyan University, hosted by the Delaware Suicide Prevention Coalition and Rule First. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Rule First, the leader in rule leading. Rule First can help you live closer to what matters.
It seemed like to be a little extra laundry on the field, unfortunately, for Dunbar. So hopefully they can piece back this drive together. A two-back look. Oh, a little miscommunication. Okay. Turning the corner.
So that play, I think, could have been disastrous. The quarterback and the running back ran right into each other, but ultimately, I think an opportunity for the play to develop a little bit, and he found some space.
You know, sometimes you got to give what life gives you. and maybe that's just the patience they need as a runner. Way to turn up and make something out of nothing.
So it's 2nd and 7 now.
Dunbar still going that two-back look.
Putting a couple of guys in motion, but instead they'll call a flag on that. We'll back them up 5. In a running clock scenario as the clock continues to move.
If you're the coach of Dunbar, you know, that's just something that you got to go into film and just like, look, guys, think of all the false starts we had. Look at all the first downs we could have had.
Yeah.
And that's just something, like he said, like something small but can be very big in the grand scheme of things. We're kind of always taking a step back. It's kind of hard to go forward. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, these two, I mean, it's low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? You know, if you can say to the guys, look, we lost this much yardage and penalty yards alone. We can be a much more competitive team if we can clean that up and then focus on that. I mean, that is the low-hanging fruit.
Definitely. Definitely. Dunbar once again coming back in a two-back look.
Man on either side of him, commanding the offense. Looks like they're going back with Carr, the quarterback position, completing a pass to Jones as he's popped right around the 35-yard line and brought down. Credit the tackler there. That one, Braden Neverman.
Neverman saying Neverman as he drills the receiver to the carpet. You know, kudos to both sides of the ball. You know, Dunbar able to complete the pass. Something they kind of been struggling with all day. But, you know, so once again, that's a nice little check mark on their end. But for Big Walnut, for Neverman as well, being able to read it and to execute in that type of, you know, that type of fiery passion. Wow.
Right.
Game.
I mean, that's how you earn reps in these late game situations, contributing on both sides of the ball with the legs, but also with some hard tackling as well. Towards the air and incomplete, poked out of the hands. So this will bring in the Big Walnut offense as it's a turnover on downs.
You know, you're Dunbar, you kind of have to make that play. It's not what you want to do, but something that you kind of have to do. Kind of take a shot, keep the defense a little honest right there. Kind of been like the record all day. Haven't been able to connect, but was definitely a little closer, in my opinion, than the kind of other passes that we've been seeing tonight. So it's something to build on.
Neverman getting his props over on the sideline after that big hit.
Always like to see a couple of helmet taps from your teammates making a big play. I could definitely hear them rocking some tunes after tonight.
Well, I mean, that big of a hit. He's 5'7", 135 pounds.
And he put all 137 pounds into that hit. I'll tell you what.
So the chain gang will take a walk after that run. Brings up another district at Berkshire first down. The conclusion of this game, be sure to stay with us as we bring you the MVP.
Stay on top. Wow. Keep moving forward. You love to see that, Bryce.
That one, Brady Simon once again stirring the pot in the backfield.
Look at that. Boom. Bam. Jeez Louise, man. He's definitely his Wheaties. He went for a second bowl today.
Inside of 4 minutes now as we're on the 16-yard line of the Wolverines. Weaver out of the shotgun, hands it off once again to Simon.
Uh-oh, Bryce. Look, we got a little bit of laundry on the field once again.
So an illegal formation called against Big Walnut. And those illegal formation penalties, I mean, sometimes they can be a little convoluted, a little difficult to understand, you know, who's covered up, who's not. But, you know, ultimately it does make the game fair if the defense knows exactly who can and who can't catch a pass.
Definitely. You know, it could be a lot of confusion, especially at this level of ball. Kind of just want to keep the game honest and be able to, like you said, keep things fair.
Looking outside towards the corner, Brady Simon sneaks in past the pylon. He's in for 6.
Simon said, ka-chow, as he went past the defense. Kind of been the story all night for Big Walnut. Nice that Simon got in and do a little dance with his teammates.
Oh, instead they're going to call this one back.
Oh, brother, you hate to see that if you're the Big Walnut. But that's something that definitely probably have to look into film this week is just, hey, making sure their hands are inside the protected area as they're blocking. You know, that's kind of been like a running theme. And when you play different type of competition, you know, those are some of the mistakes that you want to cut back, right? Especially you want to make a run deep in the playoffs or just deep in season in general.
Inside of 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Getting things corrected after they take it back. Handing it up the gut. This time, Gage Eckelbarger, the 5'10 sophomore running back. Approaching 60 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Be sure to stay with us after the game for the MVP interview. Once again to Eckelbarger, who's hit around the waist and brought down hard on the tackle. We'll see if they... So the play clock is below the game clock. They'll at least have one more. We also have the complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling post-game show coming your way. Also, be sure around 11:30-ish, maybe midnight or so, we do the Friday night pigskin where we join Brian, Travis, Adam, the whole gang back at HQ, and we talk about tonight's events. I cut up a nice little highlight, talk about what has transpired in tonight's game as Big Walnut will claim victory here, 48-0 over Dunbar.
Once again, what a really good bounce back win for Big Walnut. Able to come and get a winner, the first win in your stadium is always a great feeling. There's a lot of teams that are either 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2, and it's always nice to feel like you're 1-1, Bryce.
So that will wrap things up for this game. Big Walnut, the winners in this one, 48-0. They'll even up their season record at all one. Next up, we've got the MVP interview and post-game show coming up next.
Looking for the best high school sports coverage in Ohio? You found it right here on the OH Report. From the field to the court, we've got it all. OH Report brings you local coverage like nobody else in the area, live and free. Follow OH Report now and never miss a moment of the action. Don't just watch, be a part of the game with OH Report, the future of local sports.
This place means everything to us. This is where we come together. We do all of our birthdays out here. We grill hamburgers and hot dogs. We fish. I was about to give up. I was about to think that the property wasn't going to become mine. Rural First specializes in solving the problems. I made the call, and the rest is history. It was done. It made everything easy. Questions answered, walked me through the process. It was done. When I'm here, just feel peace. That's all it means to me. Peace.
Live and free coverage of Big Walnut Athletics proudly presented by the Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles, serving the community since 1898.
You're strong, you're valued, you're loved, and we're just so happy to have you here.
This event is one of the greatest things ever, to see community come together and see people pay tribute to those that they love and those that they've lost.
Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you've been through, you don't have to go through it alone.
Take a look at all the action from Friday night football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Bryce Carter with the OH Report, and I am here with the Stover Excavating Incorporated MVP player of the game, and it's Nolan Burley. Nolan, congratulations.
Thank you.
Pair of touchdowns for you, over a century on rushing yards, and you're looking pretty dry because you only played in the first half, am I right?
Yeah.
So a very decisive, commanding win. Last week, not really what you wanted. What was kind of the message in the in practice to kind of get you all motivated?
Yeah, we took a tough loss last week, but we kind of used it as motivation. We came in, really think the seniors stepped up as leaders, and we had a great week of practice coming into this game, and I think it showed right here.
And what were some of those things that you're really focusing on, you really wanted to get right this week?
Well, our coaches preached about going back to the fundamentals this week because it's very important, so we just worked on that, and then...
And how does it feel, in playing a game like this, you do so well and then you get the guys, the backups in who are also doing well. How does it feel to know that you have so much depth behind you?
It's awesome. It's awesome to go on the sideline, watch them just play their heart out. It's awesome.
Awesome. Nolan Burley, congratulations, our Stover Excavating Incorporated MVP player of the game.
Thank you, sir.
This place means everything to us. This is where we come together. We do all of our birthdays out here. We grill hamburgers and hot dogs. We fish. I was about to give up. I was about to think that the property wasn't going to become mine. Rural First specializes in solving the problems. I made the call, and the rest is history. It was done. It made everything easy. Questions answered, walked me through the process. It was done. When I'm here, just feel peace. That's all it means to me. Peace.
Live and free coverage of Big Walnut Athletics, proudly presented by the Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles, serving the community since 1898.
You're strong, you're valued, you're loved, and we're just so happy to have you here.
This event is one of the greatest things ever to see community come together and see people pay tribute to those that they love and those that they've lost.
Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you've been through, you don't have to go through it alone.
Coder and Joshua Anderson here with the OH.REPORT with the Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC post-game show, and this one was all Big Walnut, ultimately picking up over a 40-point victory, having a running clock the entire second half, and after going down in week 1, what more could you ask for?
Not much. You know, it seems like they're just firing all cylinders. That's been the mantra for the night. It seemed like they kind of got back to who they were, which is getting back into the rushing category. You know, Big Walnut just did a lot of good things. Played once again a shutout defensive type of game, and even got a safety. You know, it was one of those things when it was raining and pouring for Big Walnut, and it definitely seemed like it was raining pretty hard up here in the nest.
And speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at these post-game stats here. And ultimately, it was Big Walnut that had 282 rushing yards, 89 passing yards, 371 total yards on the game, 15 first downs, 7 for 71 on penalties, no turnovers. Dunbar actually finished the game negative on yards, negative 30 rushing yards, 12 passing yards for a total of negative 18 yards. 1 first down, 7 for 35 on penalties, and 2 turnovers. But as we were talking about, potentially a lot that they can do to get it back, right?
Definitely. They definitely towards the end of the game, they showed some life, showed some fight. And that's something that you can look into the game film, looking at for next week. You know, give kudos to the team for that. You know, it was kind of an uphill battle from the beginning, but able to show the character and show who they were. It was definitely a great squad going forward. So hopefully they can figure it out this next game, and hopefully get in the win category for them.
And a lot of young guys on the squad, definitely learning development period for the squad, first year coach, but you do see kind of some glimmers of hope in this as well, don't you? Definitely.
There's definitely, like, they have talent on the field. It's just kind of, once again, being able to play as a team. You know, football is a team sport, right? A touchdown, I always say, is when 11 people do their job right. So, you know, that's something that, you know, just strive for. And just, I think they should be able to get a couple wins this year. They have some good talent. Just gonna have to pull it together. Still have to figure some things out. But it's early in the season.
And their conference is very complementary to their schedule as well. I mean, they have some teams that they're definitely going to be able to stay competitive with, correct?
Definitely, I think so. And like we kind of just talked about, you know, when you face this kind of talent as like Big Walnut, you kind of see your glaring mistakes, and that's something that they're going to be able to look forward and maybe fine-tune and kind of hopefully get better, especially as they get into conference play.
They had the 2 turnovers in the first half, Dunbar did, and they were able to limit it to 0 in the second half, even with the backups in, and that definitely has to be a win for them, you'd think.
Definitely. As we talked throughout the game, it's kind of like one of those things, it's like, what are the small things we can do right? And, like, especially in the second half, they didn't start in the hole as they did kind of in the first half. You saw a lot of more third downs and 8s, third down and 7. Those are things you can get into, like, playing your offense, and those are things you can actually script. Where you're kind of going in as a third and 20, it's kind of hard to call plays for that. You're not really doing your offense any favors or your defense any favors.
So taking a look once again at our post-game stats here, and Dunbar with the 1 first down, total of negative 18 yards on the game, was able to pick up a decent-sized pass, 371 total yards for Big Walnut, 282 rushing. Nolan Burley picking up a pair of touchdowns. He already has 3 on the season, 2 games through.
I'm interested to see what Big Walnut's going to look like going forward in the season. Definitely seems like they're going to have a fantastic rushing attack. So, but as they get into a little more competitive play, they need to play a little more complementary football, and hopefully we can see Stump let that thing sing in the future iteration. So he saw some glimpses of their passing game, which I think is looking pretty promising. But once again, when you're up that big early in the game, don't really need to air the ball out. So,
taking a look at the next games, and pardon us, these are flipped, but Big Walnut will be taking on Groveport Madison on the 29th of August. We will bring you that one. We'll actually be at Groveport Madison as we are bringing you every game for the rest of the season, home and away, folks. And then for the Wolverines on the 5th. They're going to be playing Cincinnati Prep at 7 o'clock. Take one more opportunity to thank all of our sponsors who support our live and free coverage. We definitely could not do it without you. I'd like to thank Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling LLC. If you want a locally owned HVAC company with over 35 years experience to do top quality work without cutting corners, call Complete Air Systems Heating and Cooling. Call Wing at 740-345-2021. Sunbury Christian Church, it's about relationship, not religion. Sunbury Fraternal Order of Eagles 3614, serving the Sunbury community and proud supporter of Big Walnut football. New members are always welcome. Reichert Express Sunbury. Shop Reichert used cars right here in Sunbury at Reichert Express used cars right next to Tanger Outlets. We're dealing. Stover Excavating Incorporated. Residential and commercial excavating services for the greater Columbus area since 2000. The District at Berkshire. Find more than a place to rent. Find a place to call home at the District at Berkshire. Brand new 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes available now. Wrapping things up with the credits here as we close out with just a couple more sponsor thank yous. Delaware Public Health District. Join us at 9 a.m. on Saturday, September 13th for the 14th Annual Suicide Prevention Walk at Ohio Wesleyan University, hosted by the Delaware Suicide Prevention Coalition and Rural First. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Rural First, the leader in rural lending. Rural First can help you live closer to what matters. If you're watching at home, I'm Bryce Coder, your director. I'd like to thank the crew, Joshua Anderson in the booth with us on color commentary, doing an excellent job joining us for the rest of the season, as well as Justin Wilson making the trip out to join us on camera. If you're watching at home, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Have a great rest of your night.